Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the Real Senior Stoner back at you for your Source Versa Go Diamond Dab of the day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, when you enjoy today's video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all the comments. Let's get started on today's topic. We're all going to be criticized in our lives. It's like taking a breath. There's criticism out there. So how do you respond to the critics? How do you do it gracefully? Handling criticism involves understanding the critic. Negative feedback comes in many different contexts, and each one requires a different approach. In the face of angry criticism, you want to avoid defensiveness and try to understand the underlying emotions and motives of the critic. You want to try to reframe criticism as constructive feedback and take the productive suggestions beneath critical words. Criticism is part of living in the world. Whether you're in social media, whether you're a stand-up comic, whether you're just sitting at a TV set, people are going to have critical judgment of you. And doing anything innovative will guarantee it. So how do you prepare yourself not to be discouraged when you step outside the box where people will criticize? Well, first, you have to learn to deal with things. There are a couple different types of criticism, so let's discuss. You got to understand quickly how to deal with angry criticism. You've rubbed someone the wrong way or crossed their path during an angry streak. Now they're letting you have it. Well, you got to dig deep for the softer side, for the softer emotion beneath their anger. Angry criticism almost always means that the critic feels hurt in some way. A key thing to remember during times like that is that anger is the secondary emotion. It's a reaction to and an expression of a softer, more primary emotion underneath: shame, guilt, humiliation, or hurt. People get hurt first, then they get angry. And when you dig beneath the superficial anger in search of the softer emotion, it's a lot easier to feel sympathetic towards the critic. So while it's hard to feel sorry for someone whose feedback is aimed at you like a hot dart, you got to try to think about what button might have gotten pushed and then kill them with kindness. Be noble. Bounce. Take it in stride. Express kindness. Resist those defensive reactions. Lest the critic is truly evil, they'll hem and haw quite a bit, maybe even apologize. So handle the situation in a way that you might imagine someone both confident and poised would handle it. You'll see them soften. If you're the messenger, agree with the critic. If you're getting panned for something beyond your control, align yourself with the critic. You might end up agreeing. It'll redirect the anger away from you, and you can get out of the line of fire. Do not get defensive or blame others. Reacting defensively shows insecurity, that you come across aggressive and difficult, and blaming is even worse. Resist throwing somebody under the bus. But what do you do with the negative feedback that's not angry, that comes from a good place and is presented fairly? Sometimes that's the hardest to hear because it sinks whatever you did and says that whatever you did isn't up to par. Remember, it's not what they say, it's what we hear. Interpretation is critical. If a critical comment has truly shaken our confidence, thrown us into a multi-day crying fit, or left us nodding and smiling, looking like a deer in headlights, guess what? We might have done it to ourselves. We might have taken it too seriously and overinterpreted and speculated, and we felt lousy because of it. So consider that the critic might even be wrong. That's right. The target of criticism is often devastated until they realize it was just that person's opinion, from that person's point of view. And guess what? They could be plain wrong. So ultimately, feedback is an opinion shaped by the giver's context, values, and a place in the life they are. You can always reject criticism that doesn't match your core belief and tell you that it's really correct. It can even be empowering. When it's your turn to hear criticism, remember, Just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true. Criticism might mean you're a misunderstood inventor or innovator. Perhaps people just aren't ready for us yet. Almost every true innovator has stories of collecting tremendous amount of negative feedback before breaking through and finding success and credibility. But you got to consider maybe your critic has a point. The flip side of misunderstood is that they're right. Sometimes criticism might just mean that our work wasn't our best effort. It might just mean we were sloppy. Seize the criticism as an opportunity. Extra polish on the presentation next time will make the work shine. Thank that critic and get to work doing a better job next time. And just like the coal miners and diamond miners, mine the criticism for advice. If you asked any successful person out there about his or her early days, there are shocking tales of spectacular failure and harsh criticisms. Well, guess what? Guess what? They moved forward regardless of the guidance and lack of admiration. And guess what they were able to do? They weren't people pleasers. They weren't overachievers. They weren't listening for praise. They did what their hearts told them to do. We need to reimagine ourselves as gritty survivors, weathered, people of principle. You see, whether you're a good boy or a good girl or a bad boy or a bad girl, it's irrelevant because you're still going to be in the crosshairs of disapproving people in life. Approval is very different from respect. Avoiding criticism is exhausting and, in fact, impossible. So we must learn to shape our perspective on criticism, to understand that it's a way to expand our experiences and command respect. We got to rethink criticism as an indicator that we're doing things right, and acceptance of it as a sign that we've grown into a position of responsibility in whatever we do. Now, blatant insults, snide remarks, they were just on the wrong side of the bed. You always have to consider the context. That's right. So, it's important that we remember that anyone is too afraid to put their name on a comment. The comment is not worth the energy of listening. Don't be fooled by anonymous comments. People who really have something to say will look at you in the face or tell it to you with their name. This has been The Real Senior Stoner, and we've been talking truly about how people react to criticism gracefully. Let's now take our hit, our dab of the day, with our brand new Versa Go. Here we go. One click does it all, and it's heating up now. You can see it's going up to its desired temperature. I've got water in the bubbler, and we're ready to dab. My batteries are fully charged. Going out at about 460 degrees. The dab train is rolling. Cheers, everybody. The taste is really cool on this. Pocket-sized, and it performs. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. And remember, you can handle any criticism out there. Cheers, everyone. Have a wonderful day. And thanks for joining The Real Senior Stoner.